So it's different for now. So, yes, you know, ladies and gentlemen, good evening. I need your attention. I think after I had this of a couple of maybe months, revised a lot of things here. That started off, I think, so with delays after the process, was getting our act together. Things a lot of because we don't use the I have to know this earlier. We used to send out email flyers, and this one was only on social media, right? LinkedIn and WhatsApp. And going forward, this is the path that we want to take unless someone says that you want it on email as well. No one else. The new committee, we formed this in the last, say, 1 month. And there were quite a few people who put up their hands wanting to contribute back to the industry, and that was new. So we have a brilliant team with a blend of experience, youth, heart, and capability, and without them, even this event wouldn't have been possible. And we have over the next couple of months, must have seen, you can see now as it plays on the projector. I would like to actually introduce the new committee and start off with Captain Shamshir Singh. Captain Shamshir, there for compliance and legal. You come there, the lights come here. Please, officer, deputy compliance officer. And you have to give all the people who are coming up a big hand. Slowly pro bono. You don't get paid for it. Everyone giving their time and effort to pay for the we need to do for the institute. Mandeep Singh, deputy body events. Captain Amin Thomas, deputy body events. Captain Dhruv Kapoor, he isn't here today. He's the assistant head of sporting events. Ria Saudi, legal and compliance team isn't here today. We thought we mentioned their names so you know who's part of the committee. Captain Koros Dalal, also not here today, head of sporting events again. And Captain Rustom Mastur, traveling, coordinator for Mission to Seafarers and other representative and NGO organizations. Captain Vikas Kapoor. He's the guy who puts in all the hard work. He has he's deputy secretary. He has a very tough boss. I'll come to it later. Captain Farah Dhanawati. Again, we need permission to seafarers and other organizations. Captain Vikram Lal Mathur. Operating seafarers in need. So this is one part of the committee that we've actually introduced new, which is trying to assist seafarers in the need. So we will be coming up with helplines, emails, and hopefully try to use funds that we can generate out of whatever events that we have, looking like giving back to seafarers. Captain Rajiv Saigal, Deputy Treasurer, who's going to pay the bill then. Captain Lamri, Head of Foreign Correspondent. To all the captains we have, June Manohar, right? Lead of Lucas and Working. Momo Deva. He's of the welfare lead. How is the real seafarer? Deputy Events Coordinator, speakers. Example that the institute and the committee is not just for master mariners, it's for people in the industry who want to contribute to giving back to society. Captain Mark Batra, Head of Events Coordination. So this event was put together by him, so big hand for him. Captain Govind Kukrecha, who is the treasurer, he's not here today. Our vice chairman, Rashid Isa Rishi Al Hadi. I think Rishi is one of the longest surviving members of the Nautical Institute committee. And last but not least, the top boss of Captain Vikas, and the guy who put together everything. And thanks, Harir. I think Harir's enthusiasm is what driving committee. So I think we should just take a picture. Yeah, just a nice broad triangle. So, come on. It's one for the website. Lovely. Breathe in, guys. Well, see that. So, ladies and gentlemen, that's the Nautical Institute's new constructed committee. I'm sure you know all, if not most of them. Many sessions please reach. Speaking of the evening of today's topic, you and me, thank you for sponsoring this and agreeing to do the presentation. We have Pawan Sani, who's been with DNB for 28 years, the next chief engineer. He is now the head of EEXI. He has got vast experience in the technical field, and I think he's got an excellent job. So, Hari will be one. So, over the environment. This is what. In start of the evening, I inviting the Nautical Institute from Pune for inviting me for this opportunity to present the Emission Connect. Why you taking up activities, time, especially if you are still involved in operating ships or managing ships. If I told my chief engineer when I started sailing, that I'm going to go to a bunch of master mariners and make a presentation there, he would say, "Are you crazy? You go to the enemy's den and you're around." It's like it's changed when we all came out as junior engineers or junior navigators. The engine side and the deck side were two opposite caps. But luckily, by the time I became an engineer, all my best friends are actually master mariners. And also, when you did watch anything, if you were a fourth engineer, your best friend was a third officer because you went and had lunch and breakfast and went out together. So actually, some of all my friends are the enemy camp. So, now, what I can speak to my 25 minutes, and do we have time? People, so do you I put an alarm so let us just stop me to make sure we finish on time and you have enough time to, you know, your right hand for the correct use of drinking. I will ask you to hold your questions till the end. I'm going to be around and I think I can answer all your questions one on one. And that will make it very efficient. But if you have to ask a question, please go ahead and ask. I just took a slide to show you how complicated this is. People like me who actually do this for a living spend a lot of time figuring out which is the new regulation, what's on a container ship, what on a bulk carrier, and what on a tanker.
Certainly don't expect all of you to be able to figure it out. Suddenly, besides plain SOLAS regulations, plain class and postage control, suddenly when it comes to emissions, just about every stakeholder in the market is interested in it. He wants to know how you're performing, and this slide has everyone who is interested in the emission issue. Right from climate laws, science principles, capital market, the EU, and you have the sea cargo charter. I mean, look, most of all, why they want to know everything about the history of the little pin that they're buying, sustainably from a tree, etc., etc. All these companies here, IKEA, Nike, they all announced that they will only carry their cargo on zero emission vessels. So this is something which is going to bite you beyond just the regulatory sphere. This is what has happened in July this year. The decarbonization should finish on zero emissions, should be by 2050. Do we have a solution? No. But this is what is expected, and that's 27 years from now. So a lot of you, if you're ordering ships, those ships are going to trade for another 20 years. That means in 2043, your ship is still a hydrocarbon burning ship. So if you're going to have a consequence, yes, you are. So that's why I just brought it out to remind you of that. Then there were two things which was specially requested by Zuri. One is about EEXI and one is CII. So EEXI is basically a design indicator. New ships are built to a certain efficiency standard. The old ships are trading without a consequence. So why shouldn't they be also retroactively penalized? Why should they have an advantage? Because after all, the charter rate is still the same. So there came the EEXI, which is energy efficiency for existing ships. And they have to, in a way, comply with EEDI phase two. For those of you who understand a little bit more on that, but we can explain it later as well. And of course, CII is the optional index, and each ship should operate within the zone C. And then I'll explain the challenges with that. Most of your ships are already complying with EEXI, or by the end of this year, they will comply with it. Just to give you an idea, this is the amount of power reduction to comply with EEXI. The total number of ships in the world around 6 months ago was this much. And if you have to figure from all these numbers, what nearly half our fleet will have to have power reductions from 20 to 40%. That is substantial. Just to make a point, and of course, when you look at this, what 7 or 8% of the world will have will so when it affects ships, maybe every ship out there is affected. Carbon intensity indicator. This is an operational index. This formula which has been decided by the IMO, which is more political than logical. And if you just look at this little graph here, it says annual fuel consumption by annual distance traveled. That means if the ship is in Anchorage or in port, you will have an E index. That is E. Because distance traveled is nothing when the ship is in port. So theoretically, a ship in ballast going across the high seas, burning 100 tons of fuel, is actually got a better rating than that same ship when it's in port, burning 3 tons of fuel. So the whole thing is a little warm. So this is what we have. We expect to revise this sometime towards the end of next year. So till then, you have to live with this. Like it or not, this is what it is, and your ships should comply within the green zone, ideally C, and if you're B and A, it's really great. And does it have a consequence? It does. If you try to sell your ship and your rating, because of this rather unsmart formula, has a D or E rating, your price of the ship is going to go down by as much as 12%. No fault of yours. You have a ship outside in Anchorage, in Fujairah, and your asset value has gone down by 12%. But this is what is there, and a reality which each owner operator has to face up to. Next, I'm going to talk on EU ETS, and I'm going to just look at the time because it's a read, and I'm really scared of master mariners. I got to finish on time. So no, but I should stick to the time. And so EU ETS is something which is coming in starting 1st of Jan, and it's an emission trading scheme, which is a tax to the fuel that burn in ships. And it is seriously expensive. Just to give you a number, for every ton of fuel that you burn, you emit 3.1 tons of CO2. So if your ship burns 100 tons, you can guess 310 tons of carbon emissions. So Fit for 55, so the IMO has said your intensity of emissions should drop by 40% by 2030. EU wanted it, thought it was too lenient. So they said the emissions should drop by 55% by 2030. And that's why it came out with this term, Fit for 55 package. And it's been ratified by EU, and it's got many elements to it. The European trading system, which is the CO2 emissions, will be implemented next year. The Fuel EU Maritime, which is on fuel quality and how they're produced, probably will kick in 25. So I won't talk about it now. And of course, they also are going to collect a lot of funds. These funds will be distributed to European countries, which will help build up alternate fuels infrastructure in their countries so that you can do bunkering of, let's say, LNG, etc. Otherwise, you need alternate fuels anyway. And this is an energy taxation directive, which is also is been ratified. We don't know when it will be implemented. So what is an ETS? Today in Europe, every industry which emits CO2 has to pay a tax. This tax is in the form of an EUA, EU allowances, and by all industries except shipping for the last 15 years. So it's a very operational thing which is going on. Ships will now have to pay this for every CO2 ton that you emit. You have to pay a tax. Your emissions in 2024 is 40%. And just to give you an idea, each EUA is 81.5 euros. It's traded on the stock exchange. I just checked it is actually 81 today as well. So it changes every day. Surprisingly, it's nearly the exact figure rate if you go in. Even after 4,000 euros, they were for the sample. And what they're expecting is 20 million euros in 2024. It applies to all voyages inside and out and on outside. And you can see what is it is going to be phased in. So for the first year in 24, only 40% of the will be taxed. Next year 70, and by 2026, 100% of the emissions are. And you are also going to record additional information about your methane emissions. These EUAs have to be submitted, the tax has to be paid by September. But what is interesting is who is responsible to pay this huge amount of money? And that is going to be the stockholder. He is responsible. The ISM officer has to pay. Because the EU is very clear that it should be a polluter-based system. That means the end charterer or the owner of the cargo will eventually pay the tax. But if you are a manager, you need to amend your contracts to make sure you're covered. That means a ship manager, management fees is not much. You have to pay nearly $1 million. So it's not with the ship and the ship owner with the charters and yeah. Yeah. So basically, everybody has to revise their contracts in the next 4 years because we don't have time anymore. Two important things to be mentioned out here, and I think a lot of you are familiar or contracting. You have the compliance for the EU ETS, which I mentioned, but there are also CII clauses which have to be there in your passport. And these are more charter party. You should be familiar just to get you not all charters are going to sign it. So there's a whole negotiation over getting these rather right? And so you can't leave it for the moment. Emissions today. So I talked to you about this EU ETS tax. How are you going to calculate it? Just ship over in your time charter is easy. Charter you pay the bill. But if you go to the stock market, many sub charters, who's going to pay it? These sub charter owner has to put it there. And that's where you need a software where you can actually calculate for every voyage for every charter, how much is the EU emissions and take the money from the charter. Remember, I told you the EUA is traded on the stock exchange. So if you calculate, 1 year it might go up by 20%. You can't really take that because it's a lot of money. So just to give you a little bit of an illustration, what kind of money we talk. Extra cost of the times 2024, and this tax has been by second. That's dealership 4 million euros, and I don't really see it here, but ship like this is typical bulk maybe a 1,000 million. So it is bankrupt for sure. So then I was talked about how Nike and I can also invest from ship and one and how can they keep track? So there's something called an EEXI. Some of you might be familiar with that. They have shoes. That means if this a ship full of Nike shoes, we go ESG code and give it to you and say ship and this part of our free so many runs of suddenly in a report of a Nike or a IKEA, here's a number and that's why they are going to be plus and it's relevant to have the number right. So now, how does TNB as a class society really help you? You also have a software solution to have a software which is connected online and basically you get all the data connected from the process. You are going to don't and manager, ship owner, operators, charters, corporate and multi-technical that other require other class societies because nobody else has a life institution on the class. And I just want to show you something. This is the data on board ship. It all comes to the velocity and typically when you have to do have one of the software we directly into our platform. Then from there, so you pick it up, but both cargo owners, banks, insurance, IMO, DCS, MRV, everything is already pre-programmed and then you must pick it up. So that you as an owner operator don't want to really monitor this. And these are numbers that are validated. Even now, $100,000, you also know why. Verify it. Validated information. You the third party provider to say it is validated. And you of course, this is just to show you this. Then the OBD format for those who are not on an EDL format, for those who are that needs the ship data which comes to your center, so whichever software you're using, we will set up our velocity to meet this direction. So when one be coming to your ops and to our system, you will know nothing. But what is really interesting, what nobody else is something called improving stable simulation. So when you find your CI rating is low, you need more to take a voyage, which will ensure that you will not fall. Now, take a voyage, where you will get a CI rating. That means you got a charter option. Should I take the ship from Dubai to Rotterdam, or should I take the ship from Dubai to, let's say, Tokyo, for example? You can do a simulation on your software, and then you can see this will give you a B, and this will give you a C. And if you have a choice, you can take the one with B to improve your overall fast. Then the simulator, what you inspire, I do experiment and see where I should go. Because end of the year, you are expected to get a rating of C, and then you need to pass it. And of course, there is these are tools which are also self-watching as the document measures on how to improve your fuel efficiency and also on the tools that you kind of into your self-watching you get a complete overview of it. Your reports come in to the owner chapter and again the lesson gets it with the code, really no involvement from the show. So, yeah. So I want to just show you how the software looks. This is what the software wants to give you overview. If you want to go for precisely principle for your back, written no format, you will follow them directly. So basically, you can actually go all the data and share and change your chart on one of the first. You give an overview, you give a complete overview, which tips are, and of course, the graph which shows you ABC rating, you can actually see where that viewership. Yeah, and this of course particular detail from that software which you can see on the screen if you have it installed. And then just to tell you it's working really well because if you have any of these systems on corporation or on data outside in your office, these are all linked to the velocity and it gives you transfer of information. Well, I'll stop here. And thank you very much for being such a good audience.
What we have the last slide we can put it back.
So because what we like is, you can actually go 3 minutes, left of mine, 25 allocated minutes.
Is there any other manipulate the data?
So first of all, let me answer the second question first. You can't manipulate the data because that is a automated process. The moment the feed comes from your ship, it goes to the production platform. And AI machine learning are automatically sent to a report. There is AI is pretty smart. If the data has an error, and it will ask the human intervention to say this data doesn't have. And there is no human intervention. So that is really impossible. Yeah, so today most ships have systems to monitor the ship. That means they get feed from the ship, which gives them the various parameters on board, the fuel consumptions, no report. Today, most operators globally, I would say 70% of the big operators get this live feed from the ship to their operational centers or to their company offices. So basically, we will tap out from the same feed. So there is no question of you manipulating it unless someone want to manipulate the data on the ship itself. Since it's all automatic data reading from the tanks, etc., the manipulation scope is less. Of course, anything can be cheated with for sure.
Right, like you said, it's all from the engineers. So, opportunity is quite now.
So, connection is on the wheelhouse. So then the last must be in we of course have free discounts. But remember, this will also include that's my, it also includes your, this is per year. And then only another catch, it also includes your MRV DCS verification. So today you're paying, depending on which is your verified, you're paying anything between $350 to $1,000 for your MRV DCS verification. So this software itself could say it's only $1,500. Like I said, it's a validated statement. And if anybody is really interested, I can arrange special. Thank you very much. After my sailing days and my wife, uh, I've got a lot of respect for you as an engineer. Want to sit this is on this chair as so my name is Ravi Rani, Hari introduced. I'm going to take the evening forward from here. It's a panel discussion, but before that, I'll introduce him Burrow. And he works for some aspects of solution to the ongoing regulatory requirements that we have. And that's something we want to debate about today. We want you all to question about today. And that's why we come together to see if we can brainstorm and get some answers out. Sridhar Shipowner also, who has got a lot of experience in this, hands-on experience, he's going to add his perspective as an asset owner to how asset feel about it. And that's what it is. A very informal meeting today, and that's the whole sense of it. You have chosen um, includes our good engineers for the Nautical Institute defense so that we can kick it off with the next slide. So, Mike Tombero to please come in. We have a quick 5 minutes briefing on what he's going to talk about, and then we'll have Sandeep come in. Yes. Yeah. Then what do you say? Please introduce yourself. Good evening to everyone. And first of all, for the invitation. That introduce to words, I'm Roberto Sino from Impact. Impact is a multinational company that produce plastics. And I am the same manager for the marine business in Middle East. And connected by Zoom, there is also my colleague Josh Adole. He's our technical expert. He will present in a few slides how marketing can help in this period, in this transitional period, improving the business performance and reducing operating and so forth. So, question? I hear. Sorry. Yes. Congratulations on your presentation. Okay. Continue. I can you can cover the presentation for it's okay. Okay. Correct. Just so you can. Okay. Thank you very much. Thank you for this opportunity to speak at the office. I can hear you on the phone, so I can't. Um, I want to thank this opportunity to this better to represent the chemical industry and what we do in the marine industry. And reassure that actually
Things we're facing today in the marine industry are very similar to those we faced in other parts of the fuel infrastructure, so moving fuel infrastructure. And to say that, I think we have seen great opportunities where there are challenges, and that's a great presentation from DNV just there. They touched on the increased complexity. There were a lot of talks in Northern Europe here as well over the last few weeks on shipping week at the Green Constitution in Amsterdam this last week. We're I'm sure we apply to take. So, so I will begin by speaking about the housing industry in general. So, pretty much every barrel of oil in the industry in some way. So, whether that's the drilling stage and then transporting that through to the production, you can have drag reducers in there, actually improve the flow characteristics of liquid fuels to reduce the pumping energy required. We can optimize the standards, so increase the energy required to make certain specifications of fuel. In aviation, for instance, instant treats around 98% fuel treated, and more fuel in the airline sector. So you can heard us certainly use our products. And around Europe, the rest of the world, in passenger vehicles, heavy duty fleets, we actually have detergency packages in those fuels that actually reduce the CO2 of those engines by around 3%. So, it's well established. What I'm going to focus on today, of course, is chlorine. So, often, that entire makeup, like I said, most of our earth are treated, in especially around 1/3. So, we are a critical part of the infrastructure. We have around 2,000 employees. 10% of those are scientists and engineers working around the clock with latest technology. We obviously take sustainability seriously. We're in the top 5% of most sustainable companies. And we always have an eye on what's coming down the line. And what are the challenges? I want to break it down into 3 distinct segments, and try and focus on each of these today. And of course, I'll touch on what's happening down the line. But today, I think we just need to focus on the current energy efficiency needs of our clients, shipping companies out there, and improve the existing fuel performance, so the fuels that are available today, and of course, that increase the existing. Part of that, of course, in terms of recording those changes, is going to be around digitalization and data telemetry, of course, the evidence work on there. When all of these things are to show that we're getting those improvements today. When it comes to transition, of course, we're going to have to adapt to what is doing. So in automotive and heavy duty, we're already helping with biofuels, and we're already treating those fuels, helping them into market. We're actually engaged with some companies like Transports and Marine, who are trying to bring those kind of very HVO blends to the market. Of course, we're already involved on the ISO and the CMAC, providing the standards for methanol and ammonia. So we are actually ready. But we have to remember there's no clear whether it's methanol, ammonia, nuclear. So you might really have to actually just keep one eye on today and not be too distracted from aspects of this now. And because of that, I think the future is going to be dictated by the transition period. Which one's going to be the front? So again, we just will have to wait, be ready, and we are on average it's producing around 400 plus patents a year to do with chemical additives that go into fuel for various other products. And so we're always going to be one step ahead. So it's reassurance that our fuel is in the future have a solution for performance of energy efficiency. So let's talk about additives. So there's 4 key areas when it comes to performance. There are areas for improvement in each one of those. So storage and handling, the IMO suggests around 1 to 2% of all fuel is lost per year. It's starting, and if it drops out of solution, it's carbon captured or it's purified out. So anything like that, significant gain, initial gain of course, CO2. Engine performance around 3% loss. So I spoke earlier about the detergency package we put the automotive heavy duty green now, and we think that's a really clear area of improved combustion efficiency. So looking at the fuel efficiency itself, there's a lot of room for improvement. You're never going to get top A class stuff. Well, I was a C for 10 years myself as an engineer. I achieved a finished degree on BP 5 or 6 years ago. And I know incremental terms come with energy efficiency, kind of reaching that you can do. So we're focusing on fuel. And then there's these what different packages are out there. So around 95% of all gas in the market at this point are stability. So you can get those pretty much anywhere. They are very performances. Many of them are suitable for new fuels like E30s or fuels. You can lock that down and get some good improvements there. Engine performance, this is the big one, 3%. A detergency package is what we see as the best, most effective way and the easiest way to provide technology to gain back engine performance. So you can lose over the course of the year 3% engine performance just because you're starting to get deposits forming in the engine. And they're going to start to, of course, increase CO2. Bring that engine back to you, keep it here. Some significant savings there. Combustion efficiency, I touched on it already. It's not the greatest stuff we put in there. And even when we're looking at biofuels, yes, they have better combustion efficiency. But the stuff we're testing in what I've seen in the trial I'm involved in, is small packages, very well controlled, blended in with any other fuel, there's no commingling going on. And I guarantee that the plane or the other biofuels that are in there might be the top stuff at this moment. It's a very politically sensitive issue. And then there's the exhaust system. We've all seen white smoke coming out of the engine stack. That's a sign of poor combustion. So we can have a huge impact there, whether it's particulate matter, reducing that fuel going into the exhaust gas. And that can all lead back against efficiency. So these are all areas that we work on, improve the fleet performance of ships on the oceans today. So let's talk some numbers here. So typically we can see around a 30 to 70% reduction in the amount of sludge that you're going to produce over the year. So that 1 to 2%, you can halve that quite comfortably. That's a big gain straight out of the gate. We've been doing that for decades. That's well understood by us. We know we have the best chemistries in the area for that. So you can see, again, this is where we're marked. This is what makes interstate. This is a graph here. You can see here the B7, R15, R100, it's on the B100 fuels or biofuels. They do create a very quick, significant power loss in the engine due to the ability to far improvements. You see here anything from around, this is time, but the time we've got for multi-grade, anything between 0 and 10% power loss in that engine. Applying detergent straight into the fuel, brings it straight back to that new condition. And this is just never off, then reduce, and this stays at peak as well. So that's for us the key area. Combustion optimizers, lots of room for improvement, very easy to improve for our technology. And this is what we do. We can make that heavier residual fuel or even that MGO or biofuel behave like a much higher quality fuel for restriction of the expenditure. When we're talking about emissions, products we want to put in today, we want to make in future. So what we've observed in the field, that's been verified by classification societies, so we can get around a 60% reduction in particulate matter, 70% reduction in fuel in the exhaust gas, and a 20% reduction in the pH. So if that fuel is not in the exhaust, it's being consumed in the combustion chamber where it's supposed to be. And that's where a lot of the gains can be found. Aside from that, is the fouling issue. So people are talking a lot now about carbon capture. It's EGRs being installed, SCR systems. All these systems designed to reduce NOx, efficiency, or reduce the carbon dioxide emissions of your engine, your vessel. They are very sensitive to power. They work with those groups to make sure that their systems are working efficiently. So what does this all actually mean? So when you run trials, that we're doing now a test there. We're doing it on a vessel. We're doing it in labs. We're always working with the latest technology. We're in collaboration. We have 50 ongoing partnerships with various universities. We work with the largest shipping companies in the world to reduce their consumption of emissions. See here, all these data points. This is a clue to really want to need quite good data gathering. Good news is if you don't have that, everything we're talking about here has been verified by third parties. We take that very seriously. The technology has already been approved by every major classification society for your center part 3. So you can write that into code, and that's the technology that's going to help you meet your energy efficiency needs. Obviously, I'm going to have it on your EEXI. Anything you can do to reduce consumption has a knock-on effect on your CO2. So typically, a performance, you store the 2%, 3%, and all out. That's going to comfortably, once you take into account the such reduction with your vessel, such as a D band to a B band, without any forecast costs. This technology, of course, you put it into your vessel, and it's the same as you spend type of situation. And then there's a problem-free operation. And you see there's a lot of CDs on the list. Crew safety is going to be critical. Manning is an issue, of course, and may continue to be for some time. If you're not taking apart machinery, you're not damaging it, you're not risking the health of your crews. So there's so many benefits. Excuse me?
Just something to try to facilitate.
You have to forgive me, I couldn't hear very clearly through this through the platform. So I was reasonably sure, it was a little bit enlightening about how chemical industry is working in other parts of the world. But ultimately, the conclusion of this entire presentation for me is there's no silver bullet. Taking from D to a B plan isn't going to make 40% after the first CII, but no single technology seems to offer that. So we think ASIC have a critical role to play in marine industry, just as they do in every other industry around the world. So we want to make this easy for the source of crew, for the organizations, the management companies, the owners to apply. So it is easy to apply. It does reduce complexity. So it doesn't increase it so like so many other easy things. I think about innovation. A lot of the solutions I hear are expensive, they take a lot of time, risk, it's been suitable for an older vessel. It has 10, 15 years left to sail. And so I think this is truly innovative in the sense that it reduces costs while it's not costing you more. So it's a true innovation in that sense. There's always the thing thought, in my mind, that time is fleeting, unfortunately. The climate has moved it. Net zero performance of 2050 seems to have been a unanimous decision on that one. And of course, as the DMV, a very interesting slide on DMV there that showed that D-band could reduce the actual asset value by 3%, by 12%. So, of course, when you're considering the value of an asset, anything you do to boost that CII in the short term is going to be a benefit to you. So you need a responsible supplier. So we need a partner to provide parts verified and take power for it. And they are tried and tested over decades. Around for around 80 years various forms. So I will leave it there short and sweet, I hope. And I encourage you to speak to my colleague Roberta throughout the evening if you want to hear more. I'm sure he'll hear off all my ideas. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Joshua.
Thank you.
We'll give you one line to answer some technical questions, Joshua, if you don't mind, where tomorrow we may struggle. So may I invite the panelists now to answer both of the questions yourself. I don't know if many questions about the panel. We'll discuss with you. Go ahead and give some and Sunil yourself as well. Vikram Shibono, Sunil, to come leading it. So he's talking in the industry as an asset owner, and he probably might be the voice of those who are management and into looking for solutions.
But thank you very much, Neha. Thank you, Joshua. Um, First question coming from Sandeep. Will you put Joshua's solution into your tanks when the fuel is purchased by the charterers most of the time?
Yes, definitely. As a ship owner, now, what is interesting is, as a ship owner, these regulations are being trusted upon it, and we have to go by it. You cannot avoid it, unfortunately. Right. I was very keen on listening to that question by one of our colleagues about the short term. Don't take the short term not to a great extent. We have solutions. The solutions can be multiple. One of them can be definitely this additive being added to improve the combustion efficiency. Because everything on this CII or EUTS is based on the fuel consumption. Unfortunately, we cannot every time control the distance travel because typically in ship management, chartering always has an upper hand. And one thing which is good here in EUTS, the charters also are sharing the burden of EUTS with the ship owner. That is something which is very positive for a ship owner, but is limited. So definitely, I will look for those solutions.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Joshua. Well done. You at least convinced one ship owner on that. Well, putting your additives if you can. I can get the same happy. But it's only when his money comes into your bank account.
I would like to say one thing. When you talk about chartering, recently we had a problem that one ship was having 3 STS. And the charters wanted to have an extra third officer or whatever, extra officer on board. And he insisted, our technical managers, so when we proposed that this is going to cost us so much, and then we say it's your pocket, not our pocket. But if we don't put third officer on board, extra officer, so it's a safety issue. The charters are not going to cooperate. They have their own agenda. For owners will always suffer. In this case also, whatever is chemicals they will put in, it has to be owner's pocket, or charter's pocket.
So I think you've got one for one against. We've got a lawyer's perspective. Shamsher is here, your point of view. One.
First off, I'm not a lawyer. We all have every time we shake my hand. So the question is, you said there's a 30 to 70%, and I speak because I used to work for a ship owner. From there, if you said that there is a 30 to 70% reduction in slug production, and you've got to put money where your numbers are, you've got to put that as part of your contract to say that if that's not achieved, there would be certain discounts, or would that be factored in?
Please, investor, yes.
The performance that we have presented are depending on what properties you are building are an average on what you can achieve. So usually our approach is start with the effective trial. So start with the effective trial board on 1, 3, 4. Try to cooperate as InnoSpec and the customer in order to verify the fit, what the performance. It's the same for CII because to verify the CII performance, you need to establish it's not so easy to verify. So sludge reduction it is easier, but we need to understand the performance you want to achieve, what data you can collect or whatever. There is two different approach. There are two different approaches we can use. The first approach is okay, I buy from you. I'm not interested in the technical support. I buy 100 liters. I don't know 200 liters, and I verify internally the performance. If I verify this, and if I'm happy of this performance, I will continue. The second approach is, okay, I trust you, maybe additive can help. I have this problem, try to help me, try to cooperate with me, then we will work to solve your problem. After that, we will evaluate if the results achieved are enough for you or not. For sure, it's true that we cannot guarantee a single performance because we are not sure about the fuel you are burning at a specific time if you change for supply and etc. In case of particular problems, we can also support you from the technical point of view with making some analysis in our internal laboratory to study specific. It's something that we can do to cooperate with you. After that, of course, we prefer pass first step for a field trial phase, and after that, with the common agreement, they decide if we can continue or that's point.
Right. So is there a trial phase that would make it attractive for the ship owner to try this?
Yeah, we can agree for a field trial. The regarding the field trial, depending on the type of application, on the type, on the routes, or whatever. Usually, we prefer to collect some info, and based on this info, we present to you a proposal for a trial. We calculate you the amount in this trial on the economical point of view. And after that, you will receive a technical report, a technical proposal, and the economical proposal. And you are free to decide yes or no.
Now we know why you're asking. Just trying to get somebody else. Since now.
Answer. Why would the chargers to take up the car? But now over the, let's say, year, 2, 3 years, it's ultimately come down with the ship owner takes it. That's unfortunately that's the industry, the commercial industry is actually heading to. And that's something we have to address. It's my strong opinion on this.
Well, because one, what they were saying, it's all over.
My question is this. Okay, these additives which you're going to give us. Suppose I am building a new ship. The engine makers would they agree with the guarantee? Because our 1 year guarantee of the engine guarantee is more than that. Yard gives you 1 year guarantee only. But I don't think at present I've got brand new ships. Our is sitting there, ships are made under his supervision. Nobody agrees to put for us to put any chemical, and even the tank or the bunker tanks when we will the ships. So your additives, have you been able to convince the yard where they're building the ships or the engine makers? How much data have you collected for this?
We have some non-objection letter from the engine makers. Of course, in case of a new vessel, maybe we should have an accurate discussion. In some cases, Joshua may try to be better, but we have some non-objection letter. They know our, usually, I don't know, but I think that we inform them about our chemical inside the additive, and they reply to us about possible effect the hedging now. So sure. Contact us.
I just want to say, well, just a question. So, I think you answered them well on both on 2017 fuel quality back now. Whereas 30 minimum is quite comfortable. It's used to be. It's still a good result in terms of your annual fuel consumption. And again, those have been verified by test labs. And you can ask any PBS, anybody like that, and they'll talk about positive car assets in a very positive way. So we work very close to those scientific communities. We see ourselves as part of that. In terms of this oil and water kind of thing, I mean, I think, how actually needs to go on with officers, and I may have done it start marketing think with all this environmental regulation going on now, charters and owners like have to start talking to each other a lot more, working together. And I would say this, that there's a lot of both tourists and charters. So it's clearly and some charter is paying people to have the reduced fuel costs. It's true that once upon a time a ship owner might or manager might pay for saving fuel because they weren't paying for it. We're not just talking about fuel savings here, are we? We're talking about CO2 because every gram of fuel that you save is 3.1 grams of CO2 saved. So there's significant benefits in this.
Before you go, those classification coming in, let's say one of the charters are fighting over something went wrong with the crew. Take these putting things in fuel, or rather credible things in fuel. And there comes a surveyor who says there's X, Y, Z, and these 3, 4, 5 factors could be the reasons. And there comes something that wouldn't happen if this additive wouldn't have been there. How would that transpire? You would come up and point the finger and forward.
Yeah, I think that's a very easy answer. This is where companies like Constellation Shipping, PNI Club, Service, and insurance companies come in. We would just from a class perspective give a factual report saying the engine damage is this much, and based on the facts, so basically statement of fact, which will be validated based on actual survey evidence and the costs. After that, that's where people like Zarir and all make money, where it's getting into the arbitration part of it. Unfortunately, you just start an hourly rate and come back.
No, that's what I was. For any regulation which comes, we are the guinea pigs. We are the manufacturer, we are the certifying body, we are the implementer. We should not get proud. We are the yeah. They have to market. They have to live it.
You say that it will be an engineer who will be coming in and it will be a lot of towards the work. Or something to add. It will be questioned. It will be asked. There will be people asking, is a manufacturer of a company where is a classification say yes? What restriction was there to add this? If the owner wanted to do a charter, there will be a loss. There are losses when what I'm saying is, it's all nice when they're saving everything and saving the environment. You add something into something supposed to just run on certain specs of fuel. There will be questions out there. I'm saying that's going to be an open-ended question. There's no answer. We don't sit in a room now and get answers. But there will be. We've seen enough cases where these kind of factors come up, and these are going to be concerning in you managed trouble. So, third question. Before I come to you, so you've got two chances. Anybody else has a question? I know we will continue. Anybody else has a question to ask panel? Yes. It's even known for a while. It's not a new thing. I'm sure this has come up before, hasn't it? No. Yeah, so if they would feel the norm, why is every ship owner not using it? Every charter not recommending it. If it's a norm, it should be used by most ship owners, recommended by most charters. It's not the case. It's not a norm, it is a few times, it's a short, but it's definitely I can tell with my hand in my heart. And there are far and few will use it. I'm thinking now in order to actually get it down to that. I sure. So absolutely, I feel like 317 is not fuels are. It's a- I mean, unfortunately, no one can stop lawyers from making money from that. Well, fine, it's fine. Unfortunately, when it comes to disputing the fuel quality, if the fuel meets the ISO 817 standard, I'm sure many of you in this room have experienced frustration in trying to get a claim based on a loophole clearly when fuel good making any cause of damage. It's serious. Um, and in terms of why everybody reactive, I would say that a huge portion of the industry who are really paying for their fuel um, getting chartered were actually in this case, using it. That's nice. Relatives have a very bad reputation when you into this industry from the industry many years ago. You were coming in as responsible chemistry and supplying services elsewhere on demand, or they just come to us and if you want to stay, you're coming into our medical levels and yes, stuff.
I agree with what you said just now, but in my opinion, after putting the additives, the sample should be taken off the purifier, should be sent to the lab analysis. And as you said, ISO 8217 compliance is there, then you are covered with the insurance also. Now I change the direction now. I'm talking about outlet display. As in the way you go to any gas station, the guy will come towards you and he says, sir, you want to put this inject chemical cleaning thing or something in your car? And one of my friend cousin, he has used this and he had a problem with his car, brand new car, and he lost the guarantee from Toyota Motors. And he don't get any guarantee for the car because he has put the sanitary. And it was technical report came from Japan. And it's, it was to sanitary the car problem had a problem. So now issue is this. You should please, maybe you are promoting a chemical, you should say the analysis should be taken and after lab analysis. So that gives the owner also a confidence that fuel is okay. After adding the chemical, nothing is gone wrong with the parameter, with the elements, everything, properties are okay. This is my opinion only. It's up to you to decide this.
So, I think, we're classic produce have no negative impact on assets whatsoever. Yes, that's all. And your car example is interesting. We do treat your car already. Only not. The difference between the shipping industry and the automotive industry is that the automotive industry has a specification. By law, it has to meet certain standards. And we have to treat to meet those specifications. Marine, it's only a commercial standard. That's when we have to address the situation. That's why it's cautionary so much.
Hey, Doctor, I got the message for no battery on your screen, and I took that as a hint of perhaps it's been too long. The computer is giving up, and I'm sure all our brains are as well. Session be an hour-long session. That's why Pawan was requesting for 25 minutes. Stretch 15 minutes more to a lively discussion. I want to give all our three panelists one or two sentences to close up this discussion, starting with Pawan, who started the session, to say, will you, as a class, see this as a trend going forward of more and more ship owners seeing this as a solution towards your EEXI and CII? Is adding stuff to your fuel a solution? Yes, no, or is not? Explain.
I think Mandeep is a very good point. Fuel additives are not anything new. Spic has been selling this stuff in Singapore and all over. Many years they've been doing it for 50 years. Just to say, so it's not a brand new solution which suddenly is being presented. So there are 65,000, there are many competitors in the market, and fuel additives have been around 20, even when I was selling, that's when the previous point, right? At my age. So it's been so long. So it's not something really new or a wonderful solution. I think any claim has to be validated. And if they are making claims, surely there would be a scientific evidence behind. So I think any shipowner who decides to go for it, he should do his due diligence. And then take what best suits him and his thought process.
Sometimes once for my, I'm sure it's not a customer yet, but if you have
Yes,
so he knows this, what would it be?
as he said that is nothing of absolute. It's depending on the fuel, because for example, for the various fuel oil, we have a new technology, but because it is a new fuel, the point is we try to push and to focus on the technical aspect of the technical part. We have a lot of theory company certification to validate the data the data that we are presenting. The point is we agree to start. We don't want to convince you to want to use it data only with the presentation, only with a smart case like me. But the problem is if you believe that additive can improve, the fuel is at the first place. Chemical can improve in general. So it's a possibility. It's not the magic solution. It's not the only solution to solve this problem. It's one of the solutions. So why not try to collective trial with the protocol to verify that? If the data are good, if the results are good, you will continue. If the results are good, okay, nice to meet you. Stop. That's it.
Honest picture, must say. You sound like me being my bachelor days, I have so many girlfriends of my shoes. Anyway, something, would you try this fuel during your time?
I think I was very much convinced except for the last sentence. Because if I'm using some solutions, definitely investment corner we are looking for a lot of solutions. Because one solution will not fit. Because definitely when you are operating 15 year plus ships, with literally no energy saving measures being fitted, you have to look for alternative solutions for energy savings. Improving conversion is definitely one of them. But yes, we have to look at the pros and cons, do some trials. Because in the past, like what Mr. Pawan also told, that yes, there were some drawbacks also, maybe not directly but indirectly. So they have that what this we can have. We have look to multiple solutions.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Pradeep, Korean company coming to the office.
We had a Korean company coming to the office selling the concept of a carbon blocker. So they didn't disclose the technology. It's very good about. So it's something like what the EEXI does for some now. It's going to be a fitting of the exhaust. Yeah, and they're going to call it a carbon blocker. So many solutions. That's the bottom line. Many solutions coming out. So,
Right, thank you very much. Let's put our hand together for the lovely panelists. And I think we have wondering what turbo girl with turbo diesel is. I want to introduce Rehan here, who's kindly volunteered for the giveaways as a token of appreciation for our lovely panelists. And I invite you, please, with Secretary Task Board and Umberto. This is for Sunday. Pawan, thank you very much for sponsoring DMV and a lovely presentation. Thank you.
For the non-ability we have don't know what tempo charger blade looks like. This is one of those parts that are fitted on turbo charger. So we like to have a product which exemplifies what we do. So we modeled this along to present to the engineers. So this is the first time, thanks to Zaid, we've been invited to the Nautical Institute. So we thank you. And we'd like to be a part of the future.
Thank you. Thank you. Pawan, Thank you, Ryan. Stay there. We're gonna have another one from Vero. And may I invite Mandeep, who asked the most intelligent questions as part of our committee, please come up and be part of the photo moment for Umbero. Thank you, Ryan. Tell us a little bit more about, because we never see an open turbocharger. So what? That.
That is what the government said.
Sponsor the next year. Sponsor the next year. Answer all those questions. Thank you very much, sir. Thank you. Doctor, sorry, you are not here, so we can't give you anything virtually. Then love and hugs.
It's okay. You can have a drink only, okay?
We'll say I'll be drinking. We are in that. It is a lot of the heads here. I can tell you that. Satish, thank you very much, sir. Thank you. Bye, Doctor. May I invite Rashid, sorry, Rashid, please, be a part of the, it's our Deputy Chairman of the Nautical Institute, Rashid. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. So, one question to Rehan, how long does it take to operate the turbocharger? I'm asking for over.
30 minutes for a small one, 3 hours for a large.
Like I won't ask you how much it costs.
If you're assembling it, it'll take you 2 hours. If somebody else is reassembling it, it'll take half an hour.
Thank you very much, everyone. That's Baba. We can run this live on social media, so you see the link on your social forward it. The recording team is going.